Welcome to another tutorial video. These ones were asked for. This is going to be breakdowns of some of the poems in the AQA anthology. Going to be doing mostly cluster 1 poems because I prefer cluster 1 to cluster 2 and it's the one I teach most. Basically, if you do not know the smile technique, then please look through our videos for this phrase here, or just type this straight into YouTube: poetry analysis 2 of 3 smile explained, or you can go to WCS English's channel and it'll be there somewhere. Basically that concept explains how we're going to go through all of these, and basically we look at the meanings, the images, the language used, the effect on the reader, and also the structure. So we go through all of them. Basically, if you can cover talking about a couple of each of those points, you know a couple of each of those points for each of the poems, then you're going to do fine. Okay, so the first thing that this is about is slavery. This is one of the first meanings that we actually get through here, and we can see that quite a few times through here. So first of all, we know that the idea, obviously it says it quite explicitly here, the dark deck is slavery, and also it's got the idea of the stick. You know, that's probably what their masters beat them with, etc., etc. And we know that they were on a slave ship. There's the idea of the oppression, again, that's stressed across by the stick and the hitting, etc., and how dark it is down there, and basically how it's silent. You know, it's a kind of a hopeless situation. There's also the idea of this religious waiting, another one of the meanings of the ideas coming through, and that's the double play on the word here, limbo, obviously referring to the dance, and in this case also referring to them not being anywhere in particular. Neither are they home, neither are they at the place they're going to be. They don't actually know where they're going, or they might not have a clear idea of where they're going, etc. So the images that come through from the poem, and again you'll just have to compare this to a poem, you know, as and when needs be, depending on the question and depending on what practice questions you want. Well, we've got the idea of it being dark. That's a quote from somewhere in the poem. There we go. The dark deck. Okay, so that gives us the idea that this is worrying, uncomfortable. The idea of a ship, it's a place of hopelessness. The idea of light there is non-existent. That's actually in the hull of the ship. So basically where they're actually saying that they're stuck on the ship, here it is, and the ship, like it already, basically we know that he's not actually on a yacht, sailing somewhere enjoying himself. He's in the hull in the most cramped conditions imaginable. And another of the images that we have is the limbo stick, which at the same time represents dance, this freedom, and maybe things that remind him home, and also the brutality. And obviously that's the stick, the word stick repeated again and again and again through there. So there's some of the images you can look at. Onto language then. You've got the alliteration of dark deck, which emphasizes how powerful the dark is, and how trapped he feels. You've got the refrain of limbo like me. It shows how much he used to have this in his life, how common it is for him and others, and this obviously could have been in regards to the actual celebratory dance they used to do, or the competitive dance they used to do, and now obviously the constant cruelty they might be suffering. There's a metaphor as well. The stick is the whip, showing the brutality and the humiliation, and it's kind of like it's actually got them completely working to a certain rhythm, working to a certain time, and it's only been used to oppress them. You've also got the language, the word silence. This is quite strong, as mentioned a couple of times. It's presented as something menacing and scary, not peaceful and calm. So normally if someone's supposed to be out in the there's silence around, people are supposed to feel relaxed and supposed to feel at ease with themselves, but here the silence is actually pervasive and it's actually frightening him. So what does this give us in terms of structure? Well, structure, there's no punctuation throughout the poem until the very end. Perhaps it's just the full stop of his life, or the full stop in his old life. Also because it's a poem from another culture, they obviously have their own grammatical inclinations with regards to these, and obviously poetry in many other cultures is performance first rather than something to be shared and read, and so therefore punctuation is actually shown in the actual demonstration of the poem as being read out rather than being read. The repeated lines, the use of the word limbo repeated, limbo like me, obviously giving more of a song-like feel. That's again in the structure, and also shows how much of a constant it was for him. And also the arrangement of the lines makes it sound like a song through the whole thing, giving a piece of rhythm and power and a sense that the situation is getting worse, building. Now the effect, obviously things that you can actually talk about, impress the examiner with. So basically it makes us consider the lives of slaves, consider the lives of the people at the time, what they were going through, etc., etc. Gives us the idea about the power of music, knowing how important the music was to them, and maybe it was something that saw them through, or maybe it was something that kind of kept them going even while they were going through this ordeal. And it gives us a long and painful insight into a terrifying journey, you know. So we get the idea of how horrible this is to him. and it's not just necessarily, remember that's the differentiation there, the slaves is one thing and the long journey in these dark conditions is another. So you've obviously got the personality in one way and just the fear that any of us may take on long journeys as well. Remember, it's all about what you can talk about, not whether you can try and give the examiner an answer he's expecting, because it'd be better to give him something unique.